unqualified, unmotivated prospects. Okay, so the first thing we're going to talk about today is being able to qualify people faster and having clarity on working with motivated people, because the most underrated conversation is pre-qualifying, pre-screening. I'm going to call it pre-screening, okay? Your ability to have a conversation rooted in what's going on with their situation, what's going on with their motivation, so that when I get to the presentation, there's a much better chance for me to get a contract signed, okay? Because at the end of the day, if you want to list property, you have to get the contract signed. And so the pre-qualification process is the most important conversation, actually. And maybe, depending on time, we'll maybe role play. You guys haven't role played in a couple days, right? Did you like role play? Did you not like role play? Was it fun? Did it keep you awake?
They basically, yesterday, they were able to act as a buyer and an agent.
Uh-huh.
They asked questions.
Okay.
Get to know them, and then they swapped roles.
Okay. Well, look, I want to keep today pretty interactive so that you guys don't get bored and that you are internalizing some of this content and being able to see the importance of it, and then begin to internalize some of this conversation, because this specific conversation should be at the top of your mind for anytime, any place, anywhere. You're at an open house. You're been introduced to a referral. Okay, you start talking to somebody and then you realize, oh my gosh, like there may be somebody who I should sit down and try to have a conversation with. Okay, because you can have real estate conversations all day, every day, using a few of these simple questions. Where do you? What's your name?
Zachary.
Zachary.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Zachary, where do you live?
Oak Hill.
Oak Hill. Wow. Okay, I'm not as familiar with that area, but how long have you been in Oak Hill?
About a year.
A year.
A year.
Gotcha. Okay, where'd you move from?
Oxford, Mississippi.
Oxford, Mississippi. Wow, that's a lot different than Mississippi.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, how'd you happen to choose that area?
Oak Hill?
Yeah.
It's from roughly where my family lives.
Okay, so your family's that area, so you knew people.
My mom lives there. I have
Nice.
a lot of family in Austin.
Yeah, what do you like?
Generation Austinite. Yes,
Okay, good. What do you like about Oak Hill?
sir. Oak Hill?
Yeah.
Nowadays, not too much. A
No?
lot of traffic.
A lot of traffic.
A lot of traffic.
Really?
We built it all in 71. Yes, sir.
They're putting that new exchange in, and there's a lot of overpassing. Yeah, right. So then, with all that change, I mean, if you could move, where would you want to go next? Oh.
If I could move, I would like to go more, almost where we're at right now. More
But you don't like all that traffic, though. I mean.
with Mopac?
Yeah.
The convenience of Mopac is just amazing.
So you like the convenience.
I do, right.
Yeah. So your neighborhood, maybe you choose a new neighborhood.
Maybe choose new neighborhood.
Yeah. Where would you go?
Where would I go? Airport Boulevard.
Okay. Break script. All right. Hey, where are you from? How'd you happen to choose the area? What do you like about the area? You can have conversations about real estate with anyone, anytime, anywhere. And in fact, if you're around this market center for any given time and I start talking to you and I don't know you, that's the conversation we're having. Because I'm kind of uncomfortable with talking to people I don't know. You don't have to raise your hand, but I'm kind of uncomfortable with it, okay? That's just me, that's my personality style. So to be able to have a real estate conversation allows me to, that specific real estate conversation is pretty comfortable and casual. Nothing salesy about it, right? Just trying to get to know you. And I can use, hey, if you were to move, where would you want to go next? Even if at the front end, they said I'm not doing anything, because you could be doing that for an open house and just go knock around the open house and go, hey, I'm Paul. I have an open house on Saturday. I'd love to have you. I'm representing the Joneses. They asked me to invite all the neighbors. I'd love to have you stop by Saturday at 4. How long have you been in the area? Bam, then I can just start. It's a natural conversation to have, okay? So if I'm being intentional about creating conversations, and then ultimately at some point, because I'm being really intentional about creating the conversations, someone somewhere is gonna go, yeah, I'd do something. I'd consider it. Because my next question after that would be, well, when would that be? And you go, and then you tell me. And then I have an idea whether I set an appointment, I follow up, or I trash. I'm okay with any of them, okay? Because as a professional, I'm not worried about trying to convince people to do things. I'm trying to figure out what's going on? Who are you? Like, can I help you? I can't help you? Okay, no problem. But if you are in tune with that, then you have a real opportunity for you guys to be able to help more people. Okay, but if you're not in tune to that and you don't feel comfortable having that conversation, it's gonna be a rough ride for you. Okay, and I want to start with this because people, and I wanted to do lead generation, and next time I'll try to be able to do it, but I had a pretty thick schedule on Tuesday because lead generation is the crux of what you guys do. And if you don't get your heads around that real quick, this is just not going to work for you. And all the reasons why people have a hard time with lead generation, and when I can recalibrate back to, look, help people, get to know people. Everybody likes that, right? Nothing wrong with that, okay, right? So then I'm able to have a conversation that I'm comfortable with, then I can get to the point of being able to, all right, let's bring it back, qualify them. All right, that's the precursor. Let me jump in here a little bit because there's probably something I should cover before I start preaching on pre-qualifying. Don't call people who don't want to be called. You guys had this already, right? So I'm just gonna, yeah. Look, if you buy lists, you should be screening for do not call. You should absolutely adhere to TCPA regulations because you don't want to get sued. You don't want to get sued, right? Say right.
Right.
Okay, good. Don't get sued. Okay, lead follow-up. Find the motivated. All right, classify the willing and able. We're going to talk about qualifying buyers and qualifying sellers. Whew, what happened there? It moved on its own? Or I touched it? Okay. Tell me your name. Kenna. Read the quote for us, Kenna, nice and loud.
Your number one job as a real estate agent is to find ways to get in the path of motivated buyers and sellers.
I love that. Gary says this in lieu of a mentor I had when I first got in the business. Okay, so it's 2008. I'm working on the Las Vegas Strip in VIP services, and I'm making 100,000 plus, waiting tables, cash in my pocket. Awesome freaking health benefits, like the best I've ever had in my life, right? So really like $125,000, $150,000 job, right, on paper. And I hire a coach my first year, 2008. This is my first year, January 2008. Like right when Obama was taking over, right? And he was like, we're all crapping our pants, right? Like waiting for the economy to fall apart. And I'm like, yeah, let's do this. Let's get into real estate. And the reason why I felt comfortable doing it, because I was already doing it part-time, but I had hired a real estate coach 90 days prior who I was paying $1,000 a month. I don't even think you can get it that low, but that's really low for real estate coaching. $1,000 a month for 30 minutes once a week. Wow. Yeah, and I didn't have the money, really. I was in some financial trouble. Like I had put it on my credit card, and this coach said, look, here's real estate. People are buying and selling real estate every day. Get in the way. Just get in the way. Okay, stop making this so complicated. Start having better conversations about real estate. We're going to talk a little bit about that today. And then find a way, I just told you that, to create these conversations at open houses, door knocking, networking. You should be networking your faces off. Okay? You should be networking, getting out and talking to people. Other realtors is good too, especially when you get a little bit more experience because you can collaborate and work with other realtors, but you should be finding ways to get in the path of motivated buyers and sellers. I did the wrong one. Okay, here we go. Okay, dispel myths and understandings. What myths do you hold about finding buyers and sellers? Okay, quickly, open floor, because I only have 2 hours and I have like 4 hours of information to give you. Okay, myths about finding buyers and sellers. What comes to your head right away? Come on, open floor. Tell me.
I can sell my house.
I can sell my own house. Plenty of that going on.
Or sell my house.
Yeah, for sure. I don't want to pay a real estate agent, so why should I pay you? What else?
I have a cousin that's a real estate agent.
I have a cousin that's a real estate agent.
He's a good guy.
Yeah. What's your name, Zach?
Zach.
Zach. All right, who else besides Zach can use their brain today? Okay. That's good. That's good. I appreciate it, man. Okay. Come on.
I just use Zillow.
Could just use Zillow, sell it myself, right? Myths do you hold about finding buyers and sellers? What myths what fears, insecurities, or doubts do you have about finding buyers or sellers?
I'm bothering them.
I'm bothering them. Awesome one. Yep.
Who talks to strangers?
Yeah, who goes up and starts talking to strangers?
Who answers their phone call?
Who answers their phone? That's a good one, especially for young people.
There's someone knocking on my door. I'm not
Right. Bother, that's right, bother. I don't want to bother people. What else? Tell me one.
People don't want to talk to me if I don't have experience.
They don't, yeah, those are the top two right there. I don't have experience, why would they want to talk to me? I don't want to bother them. 1, 2, right there. Okay? Tell me your name. Courtney. Okay, Courtney, Zach, Farda, Madeline. Dude, sorry. What's your name? Chris. That's an easy one. Okay, Chris. Farda is a lot harder. Okay. All right. Any other ones? Huh? Something that's at the top of your mind that somebody hasn't said yet. It's okay. Go ahead.
Like somebody might be better than me.
There's people that are a lot more experienced than me. Yeah. Look, by the way, you're going to have doubts and insecurities about what you're doing. Okay? The good news is you can take this business incrementally, step by step. Okay? You don't have to know everything at once. I can figure it out when I get, before I get there, not when I get there, but I can figure it out before I get there to go to the appointment on what's going on with that property, because you don't have to know the whole market, but you should start knowing what's going on with the market. Easy, ABOR. Comes out somewhere in the middle of the month. It's on my calendar for my assistant to extract the information and for us to go over numbers, because on this wall right behind you right here is every single month for the whole year. And I'm looking at it and I can see everything that's going on. And when somebody says the most common question that you can get, if you don't know, but you could imagine is the most common question you're going to get as a real estate professional is what? How's the market? How's the market? How's the market? And if you're right, because sometimes you start talking and then you're trying to like dance a little bit and you're trying to like sound smart, but don't do that because they can smell that. You don't know what you're talking about. You know when somebody knows that they don't know what they're talking about. So you only need to know a few things. And the ABOR report, and I look at Travis and Williamson County, and they have all the surrounding counties, and they conglomerated into Austin downtown, and you can see whatever data you need there. Unlock MLS is also a really cool tool that they have for you to aggregate data and figure out what's going on. Yeah, you data nerds will love that, okay? But you people who aren't data people, like you at least need to know how many homes are on the market right now. Around 12,000. What have been the sales over the last 3 months? Where have the sales been at since the beginning of the month? And so this, like, I don't know what I'm talking about can be Courtney, can be dispelled pretty quickly until you get to the point where you need to know a lot more. And then, okay, I'm going to go do my homework. All right? I'm not going to go through every single one of these, but the point is that the fears, the doubts, the insecurities that you guys are having in real estate can all be dealt with incrementally, step by step. Just take a deep breath. Go talk to your coach. Talk to the broker. Go to a class. Okay? Because this is a very frustrating world to live in real estate because there's so much at once. Okay? So everything that you're feeling is normal. Okay? Your job is to figure out, though, how to incrementally keep taking step by step on what's the next conversation I need to have, because you guys are going to make money by what you say, who you say it to, okay, and how well you say it. So your job is to have better conversations, and the rest will take care of itself on how's the market, or, oh, I just want to sell it myself. We'll do some objection handling at the end too on the presentation, because I'm going to show you guys my presentation on what I specifically use for my presentation. Because if you're not doing listing presentations, because, oh, they're my friend Mike. It's Mike DeCal, everyone. He's my next door neighbor who I like to relentlessly punish. Hey, Mike, thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah.
These guys don't know how lucky Paul.
Oh, Mike. Paul. Lee. Pauly. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, I've only known you 10 years. It's okay.
Good.
Okay.
What's the topic today?
All right. Sellers. Pre-qualify, yeah, sit down, take notes, you'll be, okay.
I got one thing I'm scared, and I've been doing it for 4 months, but is once I get buyers in, is managing their expectations and not disappointing, make sure what I don't know yet.
Managing their expectations?
Or, well, yeah, and then just being able to handle their business. Mm-hmm. Because I'm pretty brand new.
Right.
Scary.
You know, you were on a team, not on a team anymore, right?
Fired.
Yeah, so you didn't have to disclose that, but thank you for your transparency. Yeah, it's always a lot better conversations when we're transparent.
Exactly.
So finding someone to collaborate with, and I'll be honest with you, and this is not for a pitch to me, because I will not help you, is...
Well, thanks.
Kidding, not kidding. What I'm saying is I don't collaborate with people. I did a few weeks ago, and it was a mistake because I don't have look, there are people though that you could collaborate with, and if I was a newer agent, I would be collaborating with somebody and sacrificing whatever that meant on commission, because you need to figure this out, and you're talking about a big legal transaction, and you want to learn and make money, and there's a price to pay for that, and I would be collaborating with people.
I've kind of pulled back because I have a big pool of buyers that I can start hitting, and I've just kind of pulled back until I learn everything.
Right, and that's a valid concern. You know, to be able to have better conversations, because what I'll give you with that, then I want to get into the pre-qualification, the pre-screening of the seller, is people don't follow weak people. Especially we're talking about a transaction worth $300,000, $500,000, $1 million. Look, they want to hear that you at least sound like you know what you're talking about, okay? So, because you can actually not really know what you're talking about, but be confident enough to at least get you to the appointment where you can do all your homework. Now, how do you get confident in those conversations? How does that happen? Practice. Zach, practice. Attorneys do what? Practice. Doctors do what? Practice. You want to get paid $100,000 in 1 quarter? In 1 month? I've done that, okay? But if you want to do that, then you're going to have better conversations. Now, this is not to tell you guys you have to follow scripts, but I'll tell you what, the scripts help figure out the conversations. Whoop. The conversations help figure out what am I talking about. And when somebody says I want to sell it myself, or I'm just going, I know a friend, or whatever the objection or the resistance is, we'll play with some of that in a little bit. Like, I have to be able to have a better conversation for me to help more people, because here's the gap, here's the opportunity. Are there a lot of good realtors out there? False or true? True. False! False. Why? 5% of us do about 95% of the business. Go look it up. Okay? 5% of us, tell me your name? Ron. 5% of us, Ron, do 95% of the business.
Sounds good to me. Then.
It sounds great to me. Okay? So I go out there and slay, because when I talk to people, they go, whew, this guy knows what he's talking about. And it happens very, very quickly. I just have to put myself in position, which is what I do because I prospect every single day, so that I can make $1 million gross income. But I'm very intentional about creating those conversations. Now, maybe you don't want to do that much business. Fine. But by the way, that's like 50 transactions. Sounds like a lot maybe when you're new, maybe not. But I mean, 20 or 30 transactions at, call it 10,000 a pop, 10,000 times 20, there's 200 grand right there, gross, okay. Expenses, taxes, okay, all right. But 20 transactions, okay, now here's the hard part though. Can you have the conversations? Because this is the difference maker. Not your brokerage, love KW. Came back. Last year I worked with an investor. That's all I did was I consulted an investor to help launch an acquisition team. I partnered with them specifically for the project. I knew it was going to be a short-term project, but I had to give them all my commitment. Okay, and then I came back to KW. I've been in the business 16 years. Okay, I did over 250 transactions my first 4 years in the business. 8, 9, 10, 11, remember? 8, 9, 10, 11. Vegas. Okay, so while the market was doing this, my business was doing this. Okay, why? Because I committed to the conversations. You want to have better conversations with better people? Who wants that? Say me. Okay, not everybody wants that, apparently. Okay, all right? Whatever it is that your goal is, your first year, you do 10 transactions, 10 to 12 transactions, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. But look, you will not do that. Promise you that. Promise you that. You will not do that unless you have better conversations. But it's not about following the script. Tell me your name. Rate? It's not about following the script. It's about knowing the conversation and then being able to have the conversation in spite of, salesperson, stranger. Because that's who, tell me your name. Angie, that's who I am to them. I'm a salesperson. I'm a stranger. And what people say about strangers? Stranger danger. Right? Mama said, don't talk to strangers. I'm a stranger. I'm a salesperson. They don't like that. So you're going to have be able to have a better conversation for you to be able to help them. But first things first, let's get to, should I help them? Okay. Do I want to help them? Who's done a transaction yet? Maybe nobody. Yeah? Okay. You talked? How's that?
What'd you say?
Did you have a transaction yet? Yeah. Okay. All right. Have you talked to anybody yet where you're like, I definitely don't want to help those people? Yeah? All right? Right? No names. Yeah. Right? Okay? Because you don't want to help everybody. There's some people that are, okay? Or they seem pretty normal, and you start working them and you're like, you're not thinking right. Here's the good news. You're not an employee. You're the boss. And you can fire people. Feels good, doesn't feel good. You know, never feels good to sometimes it feels good. But, all right, so you're in control. All right, let's do this. You guys have a listing, a pre-screening document in front of you, but I'm going to show you mine, the one that I specifically use, because it's a little bit more in depth there. Actually, let me just keep one. Take one down, pass it around quickly. This is different than the one that's in front of you, okay? And the reason is because there's some more questions here to ask. So, I think it's going to be a lot more fun for you guys to be interactive with this, and to begin to start going from mind to mouth on what are these ideas, what are these questions, what are these concepts that I'm looking to be able to use to be able to engage people at a higher level. Now look, keep in mind that when you're having these conversations, this script right here, this conversation, I'm not supposed to say script anymore. This conversation right here, you can use at any point in the conversation, Zach, when I realize that, wait a minute, something's kind of warming up here, okay? And if you're getting the warm and fuzzies, Ron, time to kick in here. What's going on? Okay, now, initially, there's situational questions. You're confirming property address, square footage, bed, bath, garage. A lot of times I'm using the script over the phone. So like I want to make sure I'm talking about 123 Main Street. And then I'll look at Zillow and say, hey, is it actually a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,300 square feet? How long have you owned the property? From 1 to 10, how would you rate the condition of the property? What would make it a 10? Are there any defects? Oop, did I miss number 2? How long have you owned the property? Ooh, I missed one. It's not on here? What the Heidi-ho? There should be, is this your primary residence or, oh, this must be the old. Okay, is this your primary residence or a rental? Okay, I want to know that. And then actually the next question after rental is how long until the tenant's lease is due? Okay, 1 to 10, tell me the condition. What would make it a 10? Any known defects? Were you selling the property to buy another one? Any liens, or do you happen to be dealing with probate or foreclosure? Look, by the way, if somebody's kind of interested in selling their home, they'll easily answer these questions. Because you're interested in their property, and we're talking about their property, okay? Especially FSBOs. Man, I love FSBOs, and I just don't call them enough. I love for sale by owners, because they actually want help. You just gotta not have commission breath. You with me? Like, stop trying to drool all over them on why they should use an agent, and you want to talk about helping them to list their... Slow down. Rule number one, okay? Rule number one, get to know the people. That's rule number one. If you get to know the people, you don't have to sell squat, okay? Because you're just trying to find out about the property and try to find out about their situation. Rule number one, when you start with that identity first, hey, I want to help people. I need to get to know people. I got to be good at cracking the ice and moving past this stranger danger perception that we're in. And when I can do that, then I can start having better conversations. And what's the easiest way to get them to start talking is to ask them about their property. Okay? Now there's a whole mess of conversations on how to start that conversation with a specific lead type, expireds, for sale by owners, circle prospecting. Hey, I got a property that I'm having an open house on Sunday. Even networking conversations, but I gave you the in on that. It's called the situation script, okay? And by the way, I have this whole thing in a playbook that I'll happily give to any of you guys. You email me, paulyc@kw.com, and I'll send you the whole playbook, okay? Free, no charge. This is a compilation of what's helped me sell almost 1,000 homes, okay? And it's 10 years seasoned, okay? So it's not, and I coached, I've coach people that have done 0 transactions to 10 million in 1 year, the first year. I've coached multi-million-dollar producers in GCI, $4 million in GCI plus, and I've run major organizations for coaching and training. So this is a compilation of seasoned conversation, not theory that you see in the books that people wrote down and sounded like a good idea, battle-tested, proven junk. That's gonna work. The question is, are you going to work on having these conversations and being better at understanding the conversation, not reciting the script? I'm not telling you that. I'm telling you, got to be better at having this conversation. And where am I going to start? It doesn't have to be my stuff, but where are you going to figure out hearing these conversations? You can go online and hear role play. That's good. There's a lot of crap out there though, by the way. So figuring out what's good. Okay, I'm giving it to you right here in the playbook. All right, so having conversations around situation, having conversations around motivation. Okay, who wants to be different? Say me. Me. Okay, then having conversations around motivation is what's going to make the human aspect of this relationship that you're trying to create in a very short time frame. Nobody does this. Nobody does this. Who are these guys back here? Tell me your name, right here. Scarlett. Nobody talks about motivation. So in a perfect world, when would you want the property sold? Kind of a situational question. But what's the biggest benefit of selling the home? What's the biggest benefit? Watch. Joe, real quick. Role play with me. What's the biggest benefit of selling this home? Anyways.
I get to cash in on my equity.
Cash in on your equity. Wow. Now most people are going to give you a surface level answer. Because remember, you're a stranger. Right? Okay, now we've had conversation here, so it's not like I'm starting right with personal information and sensitive information. We've already kind of talked about the A, B's, and C's. All right, so you said you want to get equity out of the property? Yes. Yeah, well, I mean, that's real important to make sure that you get as much as you can out of the property. So what's important about getting the equity out?
I think we're ready to upsize.
Upsize? Wow, okay, I mean, your house is 1,500 square feet right now, so what does that do for you, upsizing?
Give us more space for the kids to have their own study areas.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, I have kids, so I know, kids fighting with each other and, wanting their own space. And so what else is important about that?
More than likely, we'll get a bigger yard.
Bigger yard. Okay, what's that do for you?
For our corgi, so he can have more to play.
Okay, all right. So corgi's happy, kids are happy. And then what does that do for you, though?
I'm going to be able to get more work done.
Okay. What's important about that? Is you're not getting work done the way you want to right now, or?
I don't know. I think I just said that.
Uh-huh. What do you mean? Well, work done, you didn't...
More, I would have more space for myself as well to do the things I want to do.
Oh, okay.
And be more focused.
So it's just not about everybody else's peace of mind and happiness. It's about yours too.
Yes.
Okay, good. Break script. All right, look. Couple things. They may push back a little bit, right? I just said that. Okay, well, help me understand that though. Right? Did that sound salesy? Honestly, raise your hand if it did. Did it sound salesy? Was I just trying to understand her?
A little pushy though.
Right?
Pushy.
At the end, because she, yeah, right. Well, she pushed me.
Right. Push back.
She pushed me. Wait a minute, I'm just trying to help you.
I've been aggressive my whole life. I've had to spend time reeling it in.
Yeah.
I understand where you're coming from, bro.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
if you see me being quiet over here, it's
Yeah.
just because I have to refrain.
Yeah. No, I know you tried to take over on Wednesday. I remember. I'm just joking. Ron, dude, me and you, we could be good buddies. I'm there. But so look, I have to be able to be willing to commit to want to understand here so that when somebody pushes back and I go, well, no, I get that, but so, I mean, what does it do for you though? And when that sincerity and that authenticity to want to understand somebody comes through, then they'll answer. They'll answer, because it's not about getting the answer. It's about like, I really want to understand you. And then that energy conveys, and then the energy of the conversation changes. Energy is real, energy is contagious. And if you're contagious, if your energy is to vet and qualify, could come across cold and pushy. If your energy is to understand and get clarity, well, you may sound adamant, but I mean, I really want to know, like, well, how's that work out for you? Okay, this is the one thing that if you take away from today is motivation, because they'll give you surface level answers. You may not initially have an opportunity to dig into motivational conversations, but everybody said when they got their license, they were like, oh, I want to help people, right? And you heard real estate's about relationships. You heard that, right? Yeah, well, guess what? Who's been in a relationship for more than 5 years? Yeah, not easy. Right, and you're trying to pony up to this stranger and like be like, hey, I really want to help you. I'm not a real salesperson, and I'm not pushy, and I'm not dangerous, danger. You got to be willing to break these conversations to get to know the people. And why is this important? Because if you don't have 9s and 10s, 1 to 10. 10 is I'm going to sell my house no matter what. 10, right? 9, I don't have to sell, but I really, really, really want to sell. Okay? If you don't have 9s and 10s, your life's going to be difficult on getting that price reduction, on getting them to move past the fact that they need to accept this offer, on moving past the home inspection and all the issues that you could run into there. And especially if you don't know it, then what leverage do you have later when you run into these problems? Nothing, did I say this before? Nothing can discourage you faster than getting involved with people who are not motivated. I'll tell you right now, it's the fastest way to get out of the business is spend all this time and energy, and you're dealing with people who are not motivated. It's highlighted in gray, but that's, I'm telling you guys, that's the biggest opportunity for you guys to have better conversations is the motivation, and you got to be a little savvy with it. You got to be able to move around and not carry, right? Carry, not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, not that, but to know the conversation and to dig in there. This is a script that I have embedded into my CRM. It's up on our prospecting wall, so we keep this one tight because this is the most important conversation. What is going on with situation and motivation? We're talking about pre-qualifying sellers, okay? So I don't waste my time because I don't get paid by the hour. So I need this. I need this drastically and desperately. Pricing, what are your thoughts around where to price the property? You want to list at a property you want to list it at a price that'll cause it to sell while still being able to get the most money possible, correct? Well, yes, of course. So what price won't you go below? Well, I don't know, you tell me. Would you like me to give you a net sheet to show you how much a best case scenario would look like when you sell the property? Yes, all right, back up. You need to get an idea on where they're at on price. 25% of the time they kick back. You tell me. What do you think? Well, that's what I'm going to do the homework. But where are you at? What are you thinking? I mean, what have you seen online on Zillow, and like, what's your perspective with it? Always, Zach. No tend. Always.
Oh, okay.
110%. Okay? I mean, they're always overvaluing you. And okay, fine, rightfully so, right? I mean, everybody wants the most money for their property. Okay? So it's okay for them to tell you a number that may be higher. The question is how high that number is versus what their motivation is. Well, you're learning both right now. Okay, so if somebody says 500,000 and I look at it and the value is 400,000 tops, right? But their motivation's a 10. Guess what? I'm still going out there because their motivation's a 10. And I might get them at a price reduction right at that, get them to reduce the price to list right at that moment in the listing presentation, or it might be a listing pricing reduction later, but I know they're a 10. They're a 6 or a 7, and they go $500,000, and I go, have a nice life. Maybe not. Maybe I follow up with them, depending. Some of them I'll follow up with, some of them I won't. How do I know? Right here. This is how I know. This is how I start deciphering appointment, follow up, trash. Okay, so I want to try to get price out of them. They won't always give it to you, but honestly, they'll give it to you 80 or 90% of the time. Tell me your name.
Ava.
Ava.
Yes.
What do you do when they are really set on a price, but you still want them as a client anyway, and you think it's too high? Would you just go ahead and list it and then knock it down later, down the line, or what?
Only if they were a 9 or a 10.
Okay.
If they're not a 9 or a 10, then I'm going to say, look, you can find someone to list your property at $500,000. That will not be a problem for you. I just can't sleep at night and try to sell your home for $500,000 when you're $100,000 over the next highest sale in the last 6 months. Fill in the blank on why. Okay? But if they're not a 9 or 10, then either I'm going to trash them and never talk to them again because I know a lot more about their situation and motivation, or I go, hey, look, if you list with somebody and it doesn't work out, great, maybe I can call you in 3 months, because when you generate, you don't have to tolerate. I don't have to put up with that. I take 5 listings a month right now. I don't need that. I could follow up with them. I'm not just saying trash because I don't like the answer, but I got to figure it out and figure out what's going on with the conversation to qualify them to see to what extent follow up trash. Okay, and when you don't have business, you're more likely to make those concessions and compromises, but the more you compromise your standards, the more you compromise your income. You should write that one down. The more you compromise your standards, the more you compromise your income. Well, I don't have any standards. Better figure them out fast. Tell me your name.
Mercedes.
Mercedes. I got to figure out my standards. What's my standards? I pre-qualify everybody. Now, sometimes I'm doing drive-bys before I head out there, of course. But I'm fighting for this as much as possible, and I'm following up with people, and I'm talking to people, and not everybody I'm pushing into a pre-qual conversation. But I'll tell you, there's some questions here that I ask regardless, even if I don't think they're a listing within the next 90 days, which is what it takes for me to get out there and go see them. Standard. How overpriced will I take a property? 3%. When do I go over? When they're a 10. Tell me your name again. Rate.
So when they're like 100K above the normal price it should be, market price, but they're a 9 or 10, why do you still go with them? You knock them down later?
They're $100,000 over, and they're a 9 or a 10.
So you knock the price down later during the...
Well, either I'll go for a price reduction, so it depends on depends on the price point. Are we talking about a $200,000 property or a $1 million property? Because if they're a $1 million property, no problem.
Oh yeah.
Right? If they're a $200,000 property, we need to talk some more.
Yeah.
Okay? So let's talk a little more. Okay, so when do I go in for the pricing reduction? Is I'll try to get it right at the listing presentation to go, hey, look, if I'm happy to do that, I'll entertain that. I mean, obviously the data says a little something different, and I'd be willing to. This is another tool. It's in the playbook. Okay, I'd be willing to if you'd be willing to, Kate, Angie. I'd be willing to, Angie, if you'd be willing to. Okay, so I'd be willing to take the property at $500,000 if after 2 or 3 weeks, let's say 2 weeks, we need some specificity. If after 2 weeks we don't get any showings or offers, that we lower the price to $450. I'd be willing to do that because only because of this here really is what we're dealing with on reality. But I understand where you're coming from. And there's a whole mess of tools to use in there to help people feel better. Okay, here's the hard part. conversations, right? But what am I really dealing with? Ego. Personality, misinformation, emotion. They live there their whole life and they're really tied to the property and or the emotion of like, I need every dollar. Okay, that happens, right? And that's emotions driving that, right? And then emotions overriding logic. Come on, you know what I'm talking about. When emotion overrides logic, like that stuff's happening all the time. I'm gonna have to deal with it. Not just go, oh, you're just stupid. Not gonna work, right? People are difficult. Who has a partner and kids? People are hard. That's what they don't tell you in real estate school. They're like, oh, here's how to not get sued, and here's the contract, and yeah, that's the easy part. Hard part, people, emotions. Okay, so I gotta dig in here. Okay, would you like a net sheet to show you a best case scenario of how much money you can make when you sell? Who says no to that? Everybody says yes. Hey, can I show you a net sheet to show how much money you'd make? Yes. Okay, great. Approximately how much do you owe on the property? Answer, given, 100% of the time. Nobody pushes me back on that, ever. Because when you ask it and you have less rapport and you don't express the benefit in what it is that you're asking, because we're talking a little personal now, don't forget who you are. You're a stranger, you're a salesperson. You'll get some kickback sometime and they'll go, well, that's personal information. That's like going to the doctor and going, well, actually, I don't want my blood pressure taken. It's personal. We need to know these things to help them. No or yes? How many liens do you have? Right, now we're getting to the drawers. Okay. Furniture drawers. Okay. Okay, are you planning on interviewing any other agents? I want to know that. Well, Paul, I don't want to give them any ideas. Stop it. You should know. And if you don't want to know, then your head's in the sand. Like, you want to know what's going on here. I want to know if there's other agents. Because then certainly that could affect my presentation and how I present to them, what I'm presenting about. Are they a team? Are they individual? Do I have any advantage over them?
Change your sense of urgency, wouldn't it?
For sure. Do I want to go first? Do I want to go last? Where should I go? It doesn't matter, but you got to figure it out. There you go, Ron. You got to put your foot on metal to the pedal. How will you know you have the right agent? So look, both of those questions go 3 deep. What does that mean? Ask another question. So are you interviewing another agent? Yes, I am. Okay, well, how do you know them? Well, they were referred to me. Oh, okay, so you haven't done business with them before? No. So are they in the area? No. Are they full-time or part-time? I'm not sure. I like questions they don't know the answer to because I'm just looking to sprinkle a little doubt in there without, you know. Right. You know what I mean? Yeah? Like, oh, okay. Oh, interesting. Right, huh?
Gaslighting, she said gaslighting.
Is that gaslighting?
Just a little.
Kinda?
It's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gets the job done.
Hey, well, look, remember what I said. 5% of them are doing 95% of the business. So the odds that they're talking to a realtor who's not that great, pretty good. So look, I'm fighting for people in spite of themselves sometimes in regards to what my systems are to have better conversations. And they don't even know it because they could end up with somebody who's not that good. Okay, so I have, I go 3 deep on agents. How are you gonna know you have the right agent? They give you some simple answer. Oh, you know, I want somebody to communicate with me. Oh, okay, so what is, you can even use those 3 questions still. All right, so what's important about that? Well, we've had bad experiences in the past on sales. Okay, so what kind of communication are you looking for? Do you prefer a phone or text or email? What are better times to communicate with you? So what's, I mean, what do you want to see in the presentation as far as like how communication? Okay, I'm spitballing right now, right? But I want to know like what's important to them on how you know you have a right agent. I don't go deep enough often enough on that one. Transparency, okay? I need to. Have you ever thought about selling it yourself? They know. You're not gonna say that and they're gonna be like, oh, you know what, I never thought of that. Listen, never mind, click. That ain't gonna happen. They're gonna tell you and then you're gonna show up versus you show up and they go, actually, I'm gonna go for sellbyowner.com tomorrow. And you go, oh, really? That's nice. Versus being prepared for it, Zach, and you show up and you go, all right, hey, let's talk about for sale by owner too. Okay? It's important to have everyone on title is in this conversation while everyone be present. You get some kickback with the machismos who, don't worry about her, or my husband's busy, or my partner's just not gonna be available. Come on, man. Compromise your standards, compromise your income. That's a big one. You show up and you think you're gonna present to one person and be effective or get the deal. I wish I had on Wednesday, remember I had not gonna happen. That's a fast way to be discouraged because you haven't presented to both parties. How are you gonna get a decision? Even if it's not a decision right there, what are you gonna do, go back later? You could, but are they gonna let you back later? Probably not. That's a standard, having both people there.
I have a question.
Yes.
One of them is out of state, like work, whatever. What do you do? Do you
Zoom.
them in?
Zoom them in.
So do you present in person with one on Zoom, or do you just do Zoom both?
I've done Zoom both, but either way works. Doesn't matter. I want to go see the house, so it's probably a good chance to go see the house, get in front of the person who's there, and then bring the Zoom in. Yep. Yeah. But I've done plenty of Zooms also where clients I've never met, and we just do Zooms, and not even Zooms, calls. Believe it or not, I've sold properties that I've never met the clients, and I've never seen them, and I've never seen the house. And when we were done, they were still like, Pauly, thank you. That was awesome. You were great. Appreciate you. 5-star review, Google. It's all about your systems and your standards to be able to take it to the next level. Okay, it's important. I'll be sending over some information. Can you do me a small favor? Please look that over. What is that? My marketing package. For me, it's a landing page, and my landing page has a quick video. Hi, I'm Pauly, and I'm gonna be great, and it's awesome, and I can't wait for our appointment. At the top of the landing page, right? Then there's a ABOR report, market report, and then there's a video I do monthly on my thoughts on the market, and then there's 6 options I have. We'll go over that later. To be able to sell a home, 6 different ways to sell a home. And then my website and Google reviews and all that stuff is there. Hey, look that over. And when they see it, they go, ooh, looks nice. How many people send that over? Less than 50%. Maybe less than 25%, but I'm speculating. I don't know, but for sure less than 50%. How do I know? 5% of us do 95% of the business. 50% of people do nothing. So I know it's at least 50%. It's probably less than that, okay? All right. So, I missed one. If number 8, if what we say makes sense and you feel comfortable and confident, I can sell your home, will you consider listing your home with me? Now, even if they said I'm not listing right now, I'm still gonna ask that question. Because if you haven't created clarity of going over for an appointment and you give a listing presentation and there's not absolute clarity that you're there to earn their business right there and then or in the near future, they don't like you. They don't like you. They're not going to like you. They're going to go halfway through it. They're actually going to stop listening to you, or they're just going to cut off the conversation and stop you. Or they're going to, if you haven't qualified, which happens for most people, then they're going to say something at the end, and you're going to realize you've wasted 6 hours of your time for nothing. Oh, I could practice. No, go practice on people here. Find some people to practice with. When I first got into the business, I was doing role play practice every morning, and I was doing listing or buyer presentations once a week. I stopped listening to music. I said music was a big deal for me. I stopped listening to music for 18 months. No music. The only thing that I would do is listen to real estate conversations. And at that time in 08, right? YouTube's 07, I think, right? 6. So there wasn't much on YouTube. It's not like you can go right now. You can see tons of stuff on real estate conversations, real conversations, people role playing. There's a lot of stuff out there. Back then, no. My coaching organization had some stuff on tapes, for those of you who know what tapes are. Okay? And I paid somebody to digitize them and turn them in digitally. And I still even have them to this day. There was some really good stuff there on listening to people have conversations because it just wasn't out there. Okay. You want to be clear on why you're going out there. You have to have that. Okay. I'm going to send some information. Do you have any questions before we meet? Great opportunity for you to hear it. Yeah. Rate?
Rate.
Rate. Rate. Rate, what's your commission? Now what do I say? Right? Well, what's my commission? That's a great question. I appreciate you asking me that. Then obviously it's very important for you to get the most money possible in the transaction. Is that correct, Ray? Okay, perfect. So here's what we'll do. We'll go over a commission that's fair for you, fair for me, and that'll cause the property to sell when we sit down and look at everything, okay?
Okay, that's fine.
All right, sometimes you get a driver, Ron, who's like, well, tell me your commission. Well, listen, it's a sliding scale. It depends on how we sell it. So there's 2, 3, 4, 5. It just depends on what I charge. I mean, what you're going to charge the buyers. There's a lot of variables here, Ron. So look, I know it's important for you to get the most money possible, and I promised you that our conversation will be rooted in that. But let's look at your options, and then you're going to figure out what to do from there. Does this sound fair?
Sure.
Okay.
Willing to look at it.
Willing to look at it. Thank you. I get a D. 5% of the time a D will say that to me. But most of the time they won't, Ron, because the conversation's been so good and I've been so confident in the conversation that they don't say stuff like that to me.
What I'm thinking about, Pauly, as you're going through this, is the fact that even if they walk away from this conversation where you had this and asked these kind of questions, and they want to try to do it on themselves or talk to somebody else, or they have other appointments scheduled with other agents, they're going to expect this all of a sudden from other agents and a level of professionalism. And if they're not coming across like you did with the ability to go over these questions and be non-threatening with them and use it in a conversational type situation, and use it according to how you are and present, it's going to leave you in the best light, and then they possibly would come back to you after talking to other people.
This happened. My last listing I took in Las Vegas, $800,000 listing. I went up against 8 other agents. I won. It was a good way to go out of Vegas. I went out with a bang. And it was cool because what differentiates you is not going to be the logo on your business card. It's not going to be the company that you're with. It's not going to be some fancy trick for technology. What's going to differentiate you is, can you have a good conversation rooted in information and knowledge that taps into their emotions, motivation questions, where you know them and you can go back to that and go, hey, look, at any time, Ron, I can tap back into the motivation and go, hey, Ron, look, I know you're on a deadline here with with work. Or, hey, this is, at the end of the day, this is about the right school for your kids. Because I care, and I initially cared to want to get to know the people, and I fight that still to be able to be more consistent with motivation, because my problem is that I've gotten so good with the conversations that I'm able to gloss over motivation sometimes, and then that bites me sometimes.
Sure.
And so transparently, right? Like my appointments to conversations is like in the 20s. For newbies like you, 150, 200, without any knowledge, any skills. Like you'll have to have 150 to 200 conversations with somebody before they go, what's your name? Sandy. Sandy? Sandy, they go, Sandy, well, I'm willing to sit down to talk to you. Now you might get lucky. You might get lucky at an open house and somebody's willing to have the conversation with you. But if you don't have the skills to like present well, they're not going to follow you. They're not going to follow you. It's a $10,000 or $20,000 deal to you, but to them it's a $300, $500 million deal. Much bigger deal for them. So I got to present in a way that allows me to communicate intelligibly and confidently to get them to the next step, the appointment, to get them to the next step, to sign the contract. Okay, so our meeting will only take between 5 and 25 minutes. Is that okay? How's it going to take just 5 minutes, Pauly? How's an appointment going to take 5 minutes? Well, I sent them everything in my pre-listing package. I sent them the comps. I sent them all my marketing stuff. So I send the marketing stuff. I send some comps. I send the contracts on the landing page. And I get there and they go, let's do it. And I go, all right, let's do it. Doesn't happen often, but I've had it happen. I've had it happen. Hey, we don't got to go over all that. 250, 350, we're good? Okay. $250. You can't buy a house for $250 anymore in Austin.
So when you said you send the contract and everything on the landing page email, how?
Yeah, it's a link where
Okay,
they.
okay.
Yeah, it's a link and everything's on the landing page because I used to do attachments and it was a lot in my earlier years. But you can find ways very inexpensively to use landing pages, to consolidate all the information in one place.
Do you use your command, like your templates, your email templates to plug things in?
I use another CRM, but same concept, yes. Yep. Angie, got it. Was there another hand? No? Straighten out your cuffs. Dude, you look sharp, man.
I see you wearing a suit every day.
You look sharp, I like that. Okay.
Had some good conversation.
That's it. Okay. I look forward to seeing you Tuesday at 4. I appreciate the opportunity to earn your business. Confirm email, send marketing piece. Okay. Questions, comments, concerns. Tell me your name. Kayla. Nice to meet you, Kayla.
This might be obvious, I don't know. But so the listing pre-screening, this is like what people would get from you when they book a 30-minute consultation? Like this is what would take place?
So there's a difference, maybe. So there's a difference for me in between a consultation and a presentation. A consultation I know from asking, so let me back up here. When do I do this? I do this when I'm in the conversation and I'm looking to set the appointment and I'm just picking stuff out to extract better information by asking better questions. And then I realize that, okay, I better set an appointment here or not. Okay, or I might use it where we go blah, 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 blah. This is pretty good. We should set an appointment. And then I go, hey, I have a few more questions here to ask you before our appointment. Is that okay? And they go, yes. And then I do it. Or I for whatever reason, can't get to this conversation fast enough or in practicality because they got to run and I'm going to work and for whatever reason I couldn't get to it, right? But I set the appointment and then I call them and I confirm the appointment, which you should always do, right? And I confirm the appointment. I go, hey, oh, by the way, I got a few more questions to ask you. Because when I get to the appointment, we're going over this first. Hey, Carrie, I had a few questions that I'd ask you over the phone. I just want to review and make sure I'm on the same page. Is that okay? They go, great. That further demonstrates I'm a professional. Where you're at is very important to me, and I need to understand you. Right. Rule number 1 is what? Get to know the people. And I want everything that I do in my communication to demonstrate you're important to me, and your situation is important to me. This takes you to the next level. Okay. Question? Comment? Concern? No? We're good? Okay.
Good pre-qualification information. I mean, this is just, not everybody does this, honestly. I need to get better at it. But it's true, if you identify the motivators, you'll save yourself some time and heartache.
Yeah, let's do this. To make this more effective for you, I was thinking about having them role play it with each other, but that may take too long, and I think I would want to see. But you guys, I can set you guys up to role play this with each other quickly. I think it'll take too long though.
Information from you.
Yeah. Well, is the objections you would get when pre-qualifying, right? Because somebody could say, "Give me an objection." I want to sell it myself. Okay. Well, hey, obviously, you're not going to do anything unless it makes sense for you, right, Zach? Okay. Well, listen, let's just sit down and talk about it and the advantages of it. And then if after that, it doesn't make sense for you, I'll shake your hand, I'll be on my way. Or if there's value for you, maybe there's something to consider on how I might be able to bring you more money. Would you be opposed if I could bring you more money?
If you could, yes.
Okay. Let's just talk about it though, okay? Tuesday at 4 or Wednesday at 6. Okay, break script. Whenever you're getting an objection, this happens open houses all the time, right? You get an objection, you don't have to sell the process or the decision. You have to sell the conversation. And the conversation is consideration. Hey, can we just talk about this? No. Well, what if? Well, what about? What do you think about, or how would you feel if? Some of you guys have been to Power Hour. We did that the other day, right? 2 weeks, the week before we did it, think, feel. The option, 2 skills to use. Well, you could do this, or you could do that. Oh, well, how would you think if, or what would you feel if And then they go, well, maybe. And now I've opened their mind to possibility or of consideration, possibility or opportunity. And now I've created a conversation for them to grow into. And they go, well, I didn't think about that. Well, maybe. Okay, well, let's just talk about it. And they're reasonable, I know, because I'm going to do this. Or I don't know yet, and I got to do it more. Am I going too fast? Am I going too deep? You got it? Okay. Or they could say what? What else could they say?
I'm going to wait until the value of my house goes up.
Okay.
See the market.
Now, depending on when she says that, if she says that before I pre-qualify her, then I'm going to explore. Rule number 1, what? Get to know the people. Okay? Thank you for the one person who's been paying attention. 2 people. Get to know the people. What's your name again? Ava? Ava. Okay. I can get. Is this your daughter? No.
She's in our team.
Okay. So I got to get to know the people. So when somebody gives me, we did this in Power Hour also, right? Condition or objection. You remember, Carrie? Yeah. And a condition is what? Something I can't do anything about, right? Sorry, I got to keep the class rolling here. All right.
I'm a little slow.
No, it's good. Time. I only have so much time. Okay. So it sounds like a condition. I can't do anything about it, right? I want to wait till.
I can make more money.
You want to wait till you can make more money. Yeah. So how do you know that there's not enough money in the market right now for you?
I don't.
Okay.
But
So.
I just think it's going to get better in a year.
Yeah, it could. It could definitely. It could get better. And so you are not sure because you just haven't looked at any data or information, or you just haven't been paying attention online, or Zillow. Okay. Oh, you looked at Zillow value. Yeah. Well, Zillow's always the first place to start, honestly. So, if there was an opportunity to explore what was there, I mean, you might be open to it. Is that what I hear you saying?
Yeah.
If the value is there.
Sure.
Okay, let me ask you a few more questions. What happens is people give you guys objections and then you get like stuck in the objection as far as like defending it or overcoming it when you haven't even done number 1. What's number 1? Get to know the people. Like she just gave me an objection. Like I don't know nothing about her. I know nothing about her mindset or her situation. Well, I haven't looked at anything. Okay, and then I start pre-qualifying her and I go, no. I'll talk to you in 3 months. I'll let you know how the market's doing. Is that cool? Cool, awesome. Follow up. Or I start talking to her and I'm like, whoa, this one's crazy. She is. Right? And I go, nope, trash. Okay? But if she says that towards the end, and I've pre-qualified her, and then there's consideration as far as her situation where, no, there could be some margin here. She may not be too far off. I mean, I should have some sort of an idea. I'm at the open house, what property values are kind of going for. You do an open house, you can prepare for it. You don't even have to know the whole market, but I mean, you kind of got an idea. If you're on the phone, you could look up Zillow and she says 1 million and the Zillow says 500. Well, I mean, I can't trust Zillow 100%, but I know you're out of the ballpark.
Right.
And then I can make an informed decision for there because the most important thing is what's her motivation.
Yep.
Because she goes, well, actually, I have this situation, I have fill in the blank on a traumatic experience. And I go, well, hey, let's sit down and talk and see what's going on. Because they may be defensive on you initially and not telling you everything initially, and because maybe you haven't asked, and you're a salesperson stranger, and you didn't get what you needed out of the conversation. Okay.
One other thing that came to mind while we were having this conversation is a situation that I had, and that is they're going to buy something. And if they're waiting for their price to go up, those other prices will likely go up too.
Right.
So if it's going to be a lateral either way. So don't wait.
So what would be, okay, and I won't scare them and ask them questions, but I could scare you. Yeah, exactly. Okay, Teresa's a vet. So, well, how would you say that in a way that would not be, how would you say that in a collaborative, productive way to move the conversation forward?
Well, I would
How would you put that in the form of a question?
I would ask, what market are you moving to? Real estate is hyper-local.
Mm-hmm.
I can't really fully answer that question without knowing where you're moving.
Yeah. So then what could I say to them then that would be a challenge of a thought or a belief that they're having that helps create a new possibility or opportunity? How do I phrase that?
Well, one opportunity would be I can connect with some other Keller Williams agents to find out what's
Mm-hmm.
happening in that market more fully and go from there.
Okay, great. Now watch. Good idea, not a great delivery.
Yeah.
Ready? Because productive conversations are rooted in how good of questions you ask. So I can say a lot of good things and then they're still resistant because I've just been teaching.
Ask more questions.
Right. So I say, Teresa, what if waiting for the value going up for your property meant you being priced out of a property or area that you really want to live in?
That would be unfortunate.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I use this one all the time. I say, look, I know you're not going to do anything unless it makes sense for you. Well, based off of what you told me, it sounds like the next best step would just be a conversation.
Yep.
And then I know you're going to figure out what you're going to do from there.
Right.
Does that feel okay?
Yes.
Okay. Does that make sense? Depending on the personality type. Come to Power Hour, you'll figure that out. Okay. But also, I'm going to.
Open it. You're leaving it open.
So I call this a non-confrontational close, right? Hey, look, I'm not a testy outcome. Hey, you're going to do whatever you feels best for you.
Right.
Sometimes I tie it down. Does that make sense? They go, yeah. I go, okay, well, listen, sounds like our next best step is to just have a conversation then. And then you'll figure it out, and then we'll go from there.
Yep.
Non-confrontational.
Keep watering it.
Yeah, but I have to have qualified her enough to know I should swing for that. Because sometimes you're swinging on conversations where it's like, no. Do you have to know market trends and days on market? You don't have to know all that stuff, but you need to know the person. I'm like, how do I get to know the person better to understand what her situation is and allow a comfortable enough conversation so she discloses her motivation? And now, Pauly's talking to Teresa. Okay, now we're having a real conversation. Now it's not open house attendee talking to a realtor. Realtor. Say it right. Okay. Good? Yeah? Good, Slank? Okay. Let's go to presentation, win the seller. When do I got? 12:15? Yeah? Okay. Any other thoughts that are coming to your head? You're like, I should have asked him that. Or I still kind of want to know that. I'm fiddle-faddling around here, so you have a...
Circumstance where you were sitting there and she said, I kind of want to get into another neighborhood. How far is too far to go, like, okay, well, like, what does that look like in reality? Like, what would the numbers, could you sit there and crunch numbers with her, or would that be like too far?
Too far.
Okay.
Yep, because I want to do that at the presentation or consultation.
Still on the call?
Yeah. Yeah, we were still on the call, or yep. But we were at the consultation, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, let's jump in there.
Okay.
Let's figure out what's going on.
And kind of keep doing the Apple thing. Have one more piece to send. Hold something back to
Yeah.
keep having engagement.
Yeah, and data or information's a weak one because people are like, well, just send me the information. Well, come on. There's information everywhere. They don't need information. They don't need information. Now, you're not going to say that to them, right? Hey, Carrie, you don't need information. You don't need information. Okay, but
Trust is so important.
right. So what about the information is important? Most money possible, taking care of their family, timing for the job transfer, feeling safe and secure. Like that's why the crux of that conversation to dive into situation and motivation is so important. So you can have a real, not a sales conversation. It is a sales conversation. It's just people just don't know how to do it. They don't understand sales. Sales has a bad stigma and a bad stereotype because so many people are so bad at it. But the good ones are they're freaking masters. They're so good, you don't even know you're being sold. And it's not even being sold on manipulation, Ron. It's that I care about you first and this understanding of you, and I'm committed to that. And then when I find a match, then I can present value. And because I'm pre-qualified, my percentages of converting opportunities is higher. And then you're just in the sales process, but really this is a people business.
Ask the questions, find the need, and don't regurgitate.
Right. This is a people business. This is understanding human beings. But this like, I don't want to bother them. What's your name?
Chelsea.
Chelsea, right? Like, I don't want to bother them. You got that because you don't know what to say. And you got that maybe from a bad experience. Or you got that maybe because mom and dad gave that to you. Money bad. Right? Come on. Okay. TPC, don't call people. Okay, here we go. Chelsea, read this one for me.
While leads are vital to your sales business, seller listings are critical to your ability to build it to its highest level with the lowest cost and highest net.
Yes. This is the exact way to do real estate right here. But it's not the heart and soul. The heart and soul is 7 levels of communication. I always tell people that when I used to coach, I'd say, look, this one and 7 levels. These 2 right here. These are what you have to know. Because without this, you're not running a business. It's plain and simple. It's not about Keller Williams. It's about this is how to run a business. And the good ones, keep coming back to it. Because you ain't doing all this stuff. And even when you're much further down the road, right, Teresa? Yes. There's so much more you're not doing. Okay, this is how to run a business. 7 levels of communication is human being, soul. I want to connect. And you need both. Science, art. Need both. Okay? So while this in the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, okay, is the, what do they call it? The triangle? What's the triangle called?
Yeah.
I don't know. What's it called?
Listings, leads,
Look at
leverage.
us. Shame on us. The listing
Leads, leverage.
Listing leads leverage, okay? So the KW triangle, listings, leads, leverage, okay? Now, we talk a lot about getting listings because listings is the way to control your business versus being controlled by the business. And at the same time, look, I know when you're newer to real estate, it's a lot easier to get buyers. I understand that. Why? Why is that?
Because you can go to open houses and people show up.
They're willing to talk to you. Because they're like, hi, can you help me find something? I go, well, what is this? What's going on? Sellers are hiding in their houses. And they're like, right? You don't know. You don't know. Okay? So it's harder to find sellers. And sellers are more, there's a higher bar to impress them and to qualify with them. Me qualify with them. Right? Like I can do the job. Okay, so I want you guys to know that I recognize the fact that like we talk about listings a lot, and if I were you, I'd be doing open houses like a maniac, because the open houses are a fantastic opportunity for you to get belly to belly with people. Go knock on people's door. I have a whole plan we need to do the open house role play in Power Hour soon of how to like create a more effective open house versus just putting some signs and showing up. If you don't have any business, go freaking knock on some doors and invite them to the open house. And if it's like, I don't want to talk to people, I don't want them to feel like come on, somebody hired you to freaking sell that house. Get your butt out there and go talk to people. Because if you can't talk to these people, you're gonna have a hard time. I'm not saying you gotta be an avid door knocker, but like you have to figure a way out, Chelsea, right, Chelsea? To like get out of my head or I'm dead. On like, okay, what do I need to do to get more comfortable here? What do I need to tell myself? Who am I? The existential question of the universe. Who am I? What am I doing? Why is it important? Because if you don't have a why, let me just sidebar for a second here. If you don't have a clear and identifiable why, you're screwed. You're not gonna do this stuff. All the answers are right here. Guess what? Not gonna do it. Not gonna do it. Not gonna go knock on some doors. Not gonna go to networking events. Not gonna talk to strangers. Because your sphere, everybody talks about sphere, and that is number one. The problem is your sphere is a limited well. How many people in my sphere should move during the year?
Depends on how big it is.
Depends on how big it is, but the percentage doesn't change. It's around 10%. They're going to either sell property, buy or sell property, or they can refer you, 10%. The average number in this room right here, probably around 125. You're in your sphere, okay? So you could possibly get 10 deals from your sphere, just maybe not the first year, because you're like, your head's spinning and like, you're freaking out.
You can't look at me for that one though.
5%, yeah, no, you're not, you don't count. Okay? So, why are we talking about this?
Well, one thing to
Find your
remember
why.
too.
Okay, find your why. But thank you, Chelsea.
She's listening.
I got that one. Because Chelsea, it's going to be, there's 5 specific whys, okay, on what you're going to find. It's I'm going to try to go off the top of my head because the answer is sitting on my desktop, and I was in a coaching thing yesterday around this and reminded of it that it's family, revenge. Michael Jordan, right? Remember Michael Jordan got cut from his high school basketball team, and then he flew the coach into the Hall of Fame speech that he gave, and he's like, "You were wrong." Okay, bro. Okay. Revenge, right? Revenge. Somebody tells you can't do something, you're like, mm-mm. Right? Family, revenge. Family's an easy one because like my kids, my spouse. Sometimes it may not be enough though, you gotta be honest with that. Because you say it's your kids or your spouse or your partner, but you still ain't doing it, so that ain't it. Or you haven't been willing to like connect with that and go like, what does this really mean and what's at stake and what happens if this doesn't happen? Family, revenge, disgust, like, ugh, I am sick and tired of this. I'm not gonna put up with it anymore. I'm done. But there needs to be some sort of reinforcer, like a picture of your weight up on the bathroom place where you brush your teeth. Your bank statement. Huh? Huh?
Is money on this list?
Money's not on the list. Hold on, let me see. Let me get the... Money's not on the list. This is, yeah, no.
For some people,
It's not. It's not, because the money is a means to something. You don't want a stack of $100 bills. I know you think you want a stack of $100 bills, but why do you want the $100 bills? Why? It's for something, someone, some purpose. It's not, the money is just a means to something. So it's not the money. And if you think it's the money, it's not, and you have to really look in the mirror on like what this is really about. Because if you think it's about the money, you'll hit a wall somewhere, and then you're denying the fact that there's something else as far as a hole inside of you that you're trying to fill that you haven't really looked at yet on like purpose and meaning. Okay, we went to existential there.
are you looking at me too?
Not any. Okay, family, revenge, disgust, contribution. I'm gonna help my church. I'm gonna plant a church. You know what? I want to contribute to battered women because like that really meant a lot to me. My mom got abused by my father, and I want to contribute to that. That didn't even happen to me, and I just got goosebumps saying it. Right? Like, the contribution's a big one. Okay? Self-identity. Who am I? And when you decide who you are, okay, I'm going to give you this. I didn't mean to go off the, I said this now and I have to tell you. Okay, so in a mastermind that I ran for many, many years in Las Vegas, we had a very, very prestigious coach come in who coached very, very successful people. And he said, Paul, because that's what people call me when they don't know my real name, Pauly. There's 3 questions you have to answer in your life. Number 1, who am I? Who am I? Who am I as a father, as a brother, as a son, as a husband, as a wife, as a daughter, as a partner? Like, who am I? Now, I have those 3 questions. I'm going to tell you the other 2 up on my wall. It's next to my daily affirmations. Okay, because I read those daily because junk just gets in the way. Junk, BS. Your bank account, even your kids and your spouse, your significant other, not having kids or a spouse. Just junk gets in the way of like who you think you are. And it's getting in the way without getting too existential here on like, what's your experience? What is your experience? What are you experiencing? And the cool thing about real estate is that you have that power to do something. You have that control. Unlike a lot of W-2s. Like you have that power, but it's not going to be easy. It's not easy. It's simple. Go talk to people about real estate. But it's not easy. Mostly because this gets in the way. And mostly because I haven't really gotten real with that question, like, who am I? I love helping people. I want to get to know people because I know where that leads to. I know the opportunity that brings financially for my kids to go to schools that I could never imagine to go to experience the lifestyle with family vacations the way that I intend to raise and rear a family and experience things with my family. Ooh, warm fuzzies now, baby. Right?
I've always said more money's more opportunity to do all those things.
Can be. Money's not the root of all evil. Love of money.
That's exactly
The love of money. When you're infatuated because you think it's the money, it's not the money. Okay, who am I? What do I want? What do I want? I know the investments and the passive income and the sweet car and traveling to Barcelona. Okay, what else do you want? This is a good exercise too. First coach in real estate. He's like, all right, here's a list, 100 things. List 100 things you want right now. Whoo, you think you can run hot till you get to about 30. And then you're like, Because there's only so many things. Right? Like experiences. This is so much more than the dollar. It's so much more. So what do I want? And then ultimately, third question is, what am I willing to do? What am I willing to do? And that's the sacrifice right there. That's the hard part. Is like, what am I willing to do? And when I read that every day, I have an alarm on my phone to remind me, because I don't read it every day, to deal with all this stuff. Because when you take 5 to 10 listings a month, it's not always fun. Egos and problems and
It's part of the job, though.
part of the job.
And that's one of the things that I talk about to the team and tell myself is, do I really want to go do that? But it's like, this is part of the job that I signed up for.
And you won't do it unless you have that why.
Yeah.
So my why is my, W-A-I, who am I, right at the top. Who am I? What do I want? What am I willing to do? And then I sign it at the bottom. And I redo it once a year, once every 6 months, because seasons change. It's remained relatively consistent since I've been to, these freaking guys, look at these. They're messing with me because I mess with them.
Hecklers.
Yeah, they're hecklers, exactly, I got hecklers. You just won't do it. That's all. I had to take a little bit of a detour just for a second, because I know you got a little bit of that, but the stuff that I've gotten from it, from the coaching experiences that I've had, was significant on, could you fill a number that you think is a fat number in regards to units or gross commission income earned the first year? Fill that number in. The answer is yes, you could. Now, what's the sacrifice? Some of you guys can't make the sacrifice. Like legitimately, like kids, another job, like, okay, that's fine, I'm not talking about that. But like, what is your realistic goal for the first year? Because you can do it. Because there's people that I personally collaborated with who've done 80 transactions their first year. I know multiple people to do that. 75 plus transactions their first year. Now they're freaking slaves. Like they're just bound to the business. They didn't have kids. I think they didn't have spouses, young people. We have obligations, we have responsibilities. Okay, fine, right? But at the end of the day, it's like, who am I? What do I really want? And why is this important? And who am I? What do I want? And what am I willing to do? Because I'm going to give you the rest of what the listing presentation is right now. But I know, look, the numbers are against us when you're new. The numbers are against you on like who makes it and who doesn't. And I'll tell you is that when you have clarity of identity in your life about who you are and what you're doing and what you really want and what you're really, really willing to do, then you can get what you're looking to do because it's going to be different for everybody. And you got somebody who's going to come out of the gate and go like, nope, I'm going to 20, 30 transactions. I'm going to crush this. And some of you guys would just, if you could just do 5 your first year, it would be awesome. And that's good for everyone, whatever your thing is. But you need clarity on those 3 questions for you guys to go to the next level.
Do you think your answers change with age as in your 5 whys change?
I mean, there's some things fundamentally that don't change for me as far as my family, my beliefs spiritually. You know,
I feel like I've gone these 5 whys through all of them.
Yeah, for sure.
Except for maybe the revenge one.
Yeah.
Except for with Pauly.
Yeah, mine's disgust right now, honestly, because I'm frustrated the last few years because after stepping down so I used to be the team leader here, what Aaron's filling in to do. Michelle Busby and I used to, Michelle Bippis and I used to run this market center. And I stepped down. So I had a business in Vegas, 234 transactions my first 4 years in the business. And then I was doing 150 to 175 transactions for 3 years in a row before I got into coaching and training. And then I worked with Berkshire Hathaway, I worked with Realty Executives, ultimately Keller Williams to like create and run training programs. Because I love teaching. I love coaching, I love training. I don't love coaching. I love training. Coaching's like therapy. I like training, I like teaching. And yeah, why am I talking about this?
Because you're why.
Your why. So the disgust is for me is that after stepping down from team leader, I got recruited here for that job, right? And then I moved my family from Las Vegas, and I did that for 4 years, and it was awesome, and I loved it, and I learned so much. But since then, I've been kind of up and down, up and down. I've been making pretty good money, but not what I know that I could make based off of what I've been doing. I was messing around with some investors. I tried to start a team. I didn't follow the models. Oh, yeah.
I don't even know.
Yeah, we know what to do, but we don't do that stuff.
Well, some of it comes too with when you have a sphere that sends you business. Sometimes it's easy. So it's
for you. I didn't have that. Like I didn't have that.
Okay.
Because I did a lot when I moved here. It was recruit agents.
That's right.
So everybody I knew was an agent. So when I stepped down, my first 6 months in the business, it was like 12 million. My first 6 months, pretty good. I was starting from scratch, but I'm a freak. I prospect like a maniac. Because my why is that I have specific whys personally on $1 million net. I haven't hit that yet, but the GCI is going to be this year, okay? But I'm disgusted with the fact that like I'm 49, I've been messing around the last 3 or 4 years. The investor thing was cool, I learned a lot, but piece of me is going, you wasted that year. Now look, comparison, right? Comparison.
So you're discussed with yourself.
Myself.
Okay, we need to talk.
Yeah, yeah. Now my faith, journaling, Miracle Morning, all these things to enforce myself, like psychologically and emotionally and spiritually, are all very, very important. Which is why that why is important, and that goes in that direction for me. Because we all experience these things as far as like these challenges that happen psychologically and emotionally. And like, what am I going to do about it? Who am I in relationship with? I have accountability group. I have mentor. I lead masterminds. I teach Power Hour because I know that I need it because of what's at stake, which is I didn't get a 401k. I didn't get a retirement. I have some issues with family. And so the beauty is that within 5 years, anything can happen. Anything. You can achieve whatever you want. And we've seen it time and time again where I'm too old. Bullshit. Yeah, my circumstances. Bullshit. Like whatever the excuse is.
It's an excuse.
Is an excuse. And there's a way around, there's a way to deal with it. It is what it is and whatever it is, but like there's still a way to deal with it. And so I just want to share that with you guys transparently to know that like you're not alone in your circumstances as far as like what the frustration or the challenges or the or lack of belief. I don't know why people want to go with me if I'm new. Or whatever it is that's self-deprecating, is that the word, right? Self-deprecating thoughts and beliefs. I'm too young. Oh, don't give me that one. I've had 3 guys on different teams for me personally who've done $1 million deals. Their first number one deal, first deal in real estate. I've had guys on my team, $1 million deals, under 25, all of them. Okay, sell 5 million plus first year, under 25. So don't too young. No. What are you gonna say? Too old. I'm too old. Okay, let's go. All right, I'm off the soapbox. That's it. Back to.
Go back to that one, the listing lead leverage one. Show that picture.
There it is. 3 L's of the MREA. There's not even a name for it.
Here's the thing to think about, especially the leverage part, is that if you get more, and this is what I keep telling myself and telling our team, is if you get more deals than you can handle, refer them out, and you make money still.
Mm-hmm.
What is it, like 5 buyers is usually a good number for most agents. If they're juggling 5, that's about a good number. If you get more than that, refer it out.
Yeah, 7 or 8 is like a pro. Like, yeah, I mean, yeah. Like, you got to be super high level to go more than 5 or 6. Yep.